Today, we're diving into a challenge that, let's be honest, every single leader faces. How do you build a team that doesn't just work, but excels? We're going to map out the entire leader's journey and give you the practical tools you need for total team mastery.
You know the feeling, right? You bring together this group of super talented people, you're hoping for magic, but instead, you get friction, a constant struggle. Well, the good news is, it's not just random luck. There's actually a predictable path that almost every team follows.
I want you to think about it like this. Getting your team from point A to point B, especially when things get tough, it's a journey. And for any successful journey, you absolutely need three things. You need a map, so you understand the terrain, you need a compass to guide your direction, and you need fuel to keep everyone moving forward. Today, we're giving you all three.
So first up, let's talk about the map. This is all about understanding the predictable stages, the terrain that every team has to go through. Once you can actually see the path, navigating it becomes a whole lot easier.
So what is this map? Well, it's a classic model that's been around since 1965, and for good reason. It's called the Tuckman Ladder, and it's a simple but really powerful framework that shows the 4 steps a team takes as it grows, and, this is the important part, as its productivity grows along with it.
So what are these 4 stages? Okay, it always starts with form. This is the getting to know you phase. Everyone's polite, a little uncertain. And then comes storm. This is where the friction happens. People start questioning things, maybe even each other. It can be tough. But if you can guide them through that, you get to norm. This is where the team starts to figure things out and really focus on the work. And finally, you reach the holy grail, perform. This is where your team is just a well-oiled, self-organizing machine.
And check this out. This shows you exactly how productivity lines up with those stages. You see, in the beginning, during form and storm, productivity is pretty low. Why? Because the team is more focused on itself than the work. But as you push through into norm, you start to see that line climb, and it hits its absolute peak when the team reaches that perform stage. Your job, as a leader, is to get them there.
Which brings us to our second tool. You've got the map, you know the stages, but how do you actually guide the team through them? Well, you need a compass. And this is all about your leadership style. And the big secret here is knowing that you have to change it. You have to adapt.
Our compass for this journey is the Situational Leadership Model. The core idea here is brilliant because it's so true. Great leadership is not one size fits all. The best leaders are chameleons. They change their approach based on the situation, specifically on how ready their team is and what stage of development they're in. So this model gives us 4 clear strategies to use. First up is tell. This is you being very directive, very hands-on, setting clear expectations. Next is sell. This is where you're explaining the why behind your decisions, building confidence and getting buy-in. Third, you have participate. Here, you're less of a director and more of a collaborator working alongside your team. And finally, there's delegate. This is where you step back, hand over the reins, and trust your team to run with it.
Okay, so we've got the map of team stages, and we've got the compass of leadership strategies. Are you ready for the real aha moment? The real magic happens when you put them together.
This is it. This is the crucial takeaway. You have to match your leadership strategy to your team's stage. So when your team is just starting out in the form stage, they need clarity and direction. So you tell them what to do. When they hit that inevitable, bumpy storm stage, they're full of doubts. So you sell them on the vision and build their confidence. As they start to gel in the norm stage, they need your support. So you participate with them. And finally, when they're a high-flying perform team, you get out of their way and delegate. Your leadership has to evolve right alongside your team.
Okay, you've got your map, you've got your compass, but look, any long journey needs fuel. And for a team, that fuel is motivation. It's the why that keeps people engaged and doing their best work, not just for a week, but for the long haul.
So how do we keep that tank full? Well, the Project Management Institute points to 4 key theories of motivation that are incredibly useful for any leader. Let's quickly run through them so you know exactly what kind of fuel to use and when. First up is expectation theory. It's actually a pretty simple cost-benefit analysis that everyone on your team is doing, probably without even realizing it. They're asking themselves one question: is the reward I'm going to get worth the effort I have to put in? This is so important during that storm stage. If your team starts to feel the effort isn't worth it, you're in trouble. As the leader, you have to make sure the rewards are clearly aligned with the effort.
Next, we have Hertzberg's theory, which is fascinating. He basically said there are 2 sets of factors at play. First are hygiene factors. Think of things like salary or a decent office. Now, having these things won't necessarily motivate people to be superstars, but not having them, that will absolutely demotivate them. These are the basics you have to get right. Then you have motivational factors, things like a sense of achievement, growth, feeling recognized. These are the things that truly light a fire under people and drive them to excel.
This leads perfectly into extrinsic versus intrinsic motivation. See, extrinsic rewards like a cash bonus are external. They can work, but their effect is often short-lived. The real, sustainable, high-octane fuel, that comes from intrinsic motivators. As a leader, your ultimate goal, especially to get to that perform stage, is to foster this by giving your team 3 things: autonomy over their work, opportunities for mastery, and a clear sense of purpose.
And finally, there's McClelland's theory of needs. This theory suggests that every one of us is driven by a unique blend of 3 fundamental needs: the need for achievement, the need for power or influence, and the need for affiliation, which is that sense of belonging. The big takeaway for you as a leader is to figure out what primarily drives each person on your team and then try to tailor their work and their opportunities to that specific need.
All right, let's bring this all together. It's time to assemble your complete leadership toolkit. You now have a practical, actionable framework that you can use to guide literally any team to success. So here's what's in your toolkit. You've got your map, the 4 Tuckman stages, so you can diagnose exactly where your team is on their journey. You've got your compass, those 4 leadership strategies, so you can choose the right approach at the right time. And you have your fuel, the science of motivation, to keep that engine running strong. All of this just supports your core role as a leader, which is to organize, communicate, influence, and be there for your team.
And that brings us to the final and most important question, the one I want to leave you with. Take a second and really think about your team right now. Which stage are they in? And more importantly, are you using the right map, the right compass, and the right fuel to lead them? Answering that question honestly, well, that's the first real step on the path to becoming a master leader.